Suicide and mental illness has sort of wrecked my life, but at the same time, it's given me like a clearer look at like how things work and how people feel. And so we kind of took a stance on that a few years ago when my friend killed himself. There was always sort of a lingering cloud, a lingering thought of like, you know, you're not good enough, you're not worth it. And I never knew what that meant. I ignored it for a long time. So January 12th, 2013, Brant Simon killed himself. He was a friend of mine from high school, and I knew that he was having some trouble being alone. And I started really thinking about myself. Like it kind of opened a door that I didn't really know was there. Maybe I could have done something. Like maybe I could have reconnected. And so I started to blame myself. It became the blame game for a long time. I asked my band if we could write a song. You know, I was like, hey, I think this is the best thing I can do right now. And they had some stuff laying around or whatever, and they wrote it. And honestly, for like the first 3 or 4 months that we played the song, there were no lyrics. It was literally just them playing the stuff they had written and me yelling about how angry I was at Brant, how angry I was at myself. You know, I had convinced myself that suicide was like the selfish option. I was blinded by a lot of emotion at the time. I had thought about what the next few years are gonna look like and like what I was gonna do to sort of fight back and to really start to like try to better myself and try to get back to like just being me. It kind of clicked. It was like, okay, well, you know, I have this band, I have music, I have something that means a lot to me, something that's important, and something that's going to allow me to let it all out. You need to be talking about this because, you know, Brant's not the only one that ever felt like that. And I started to try to educate myself more, and at the same time I was trying to get this song done and trying to find a way that I could use Brant as a voice, and I could use his situation as a voice. You know, we started playing that song, and like I said, for a long time we would start the song and I would say, you know, suicide is selfish, and I didn't even know what that meant other than I was angry. What Brant was dealing with was a real disease, and what I was dealing with was a real disease. And I realized that the only people I had to blame were the people who told me that I couldn't feel like that, or that I was wrong for feeling like that I was wrong for thinking that I wasn't worth it. And I started to like mold the idea that, okay, well, you know, we're gonna be a band that says something, like we're gonna try to fight this because nobody else is. It's been almost 3.5 years we've been playing that song, and I have literally met hundreds of people who feel like me, hundreds of people who tell me that their friends have killed themselves, their parents have killed themselves. I walk away and I'm kind of crushed because the world has let a lot of these people down. I feel like all of these people could have been saved. There could have been a voice before me that said, you're all right for feeling like this, but let's get you some help. Let's solve this thing together. And instead, a lot of these kids, just like myself, a lot of these adults, just like myself, were swept under the rug as just another problem that nobody could solve, as just like another number, you know. Oh yeah, they're depressed or whatever, but they'll be all right. And I know from experience that they won't be all right, because I wasn't all right, and I'm still not. I'm better. I'm a lot better, but I wouldn't use the word okay. The number one thing I tell anybody when they come up to me and talk to me is you need to find somebody to listen. And so if you're that outside person, if you're that person who looks at their friend and says, maybe they're dealing with something, having people listen to me has been the most incredible thing, and it's been the most liberating thing. Like, if I could have done anything differently, I would have listened. I would have asked questions and I would have listened. That's like the number one thing. Like, if you know somebody that's dealing with something as evil and as dark as this, something that can literally eat you from the inside out, the best thing you can do is say, hey, I don't quite understand it, but it's okay that you feel that way. I want to be here for you. I want to listen. I want to try to understand what you're dealing with. The problem is that nobody is willing to listen. I wasn't willing to listen. I wasn't even hearing myself for a long time. I wasn't willing to to understand what I was going through, let alone anybody else. So my best friends have listened to me for 3 years talk about how some days I wake up and I want to die. At the end of the day, they just tell me they love me, and they let me know that if you need to talk to somebody, you're not alone. That has gone so far, and it has helped me so much. And I don't think they know it, but I mean, they've saved my life more than one time. It's making me lose my mind.